Hi BookTube! So as I've been stuck inside the last couple of days due to the snow, I thought I would share with you the books I've purchased at bookstores or got at little free libraries when I've been mobile and out and about. These books have been sitting on the floor for quite some time. I didn't want to put them away yet until I filmed a book haul. And sorry for the weird lighting because I'm working with what I have here. It's actually bright and sunny outside, but with all the glares, I've tried to put the blinds down a bit. And sorry if there's any shaking with the camera because I have my tripod on a pile of books, and every time I sit down to film a video, Fable, she's never in the video that often, but she's right behind the camera, and she's very curious about what's going on, and so she's kind of nudging the tripod or the books off and on. So yeah, excuse the little things going on here. So anyway, let's get into what I've got. So the first one is, this is like a complete mismatch of different genres. This is All Is Not Forgotten by Wendy Walker. I've never read this author. The cover I like because it has the fall leaves here, and when I was looking, I didn't read much detail about any of these books, but what caught my eye was it was blurred by Karen Slaughter. I've read a couple of her books, and they're kind of the gritty, suspenseful mystery thrillers, and so if she's in that kind of vein, I'd be interested in giving her a try. And I'm not going to go into great detail with most of these books, I don't think. Then I have Therese and Fowler. It all comes down to this, and this actually is an advanced reader copy. It came out over the summer, and I like good, easy summer reads, beach reads, and this one says, meet the strong-minded Geller sisters, the men they can't live with or without, and the Maine summer house that holds the key to their happiness. The Maine summer house, that little line there is what made me pick up this book. I then have a Harlequin romance. This is Donna Alward, Hired by the Cowboy, a Western weddings book. And I was looking for romance books when I, over the last month, well, some of these are actually from January too, so I think I got this one in January because it was before I knew the criteria for the retro romance readathon, because I knew that was coming up. And so I was beginning the older books, but this didn't, I don't think it made the cut, because for the retro romance readathon, it had to be 2003 or earlier, and this came out in 2007. Then I have a Western, and I got this for, speaking of booktube readathons, for June on the Range coming up. This is by Alan Lemay, and this is West of Nowhere. This is first time in paperback, and there is a cowboy shooting back to other cowboys. Let's see. Yeah, it's I guess he's in for short stories, and I don't think this is a short story collection. Let me just see real quick. Maybe it is. There's either these are chapter titles or they're actual short stories. Yeah, so we'll see. Then I have Judy Bloom, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing. I don't think I read Judy Bloom as a kid. What made me want to pick this up is because I tried reading one of her adult novels and I hated it. It was not what I expected at all, because I figured, I recognize the name Judy Bloom. And this is decades ago when I picked up this adult book, and I was just like, oh my god, this is horrible. But let's see, this book, Paperback Crush, goes through the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the different children's books and really YA books before YA was a thing. And so Judy Bloom, of course, is mentioned here. And so I'm like, okay, I'll give her actual children's books a try, because again, I might have read her as a kid. I'm not sure. But if I get into it, we'll see if I remember anything. Let's see, I have The Crystal Crow by Joan Aiken, and this is a gothic suspense. And I read a ton of these in middle school, the gothic suspense books, and I feel like when I was looking in the store at these, so many of the women are running away. There's another one in here somewhere in my pile, but this is an Ace Star book, and it was 75 cents when it came out. When did it come out? Way back when. 1967. It says, let's see. There's not even a description of that, because it just talks about the author. But is there any little description here? But My Worst Nightmare, which I get every 2 or 3 years, originated, I believe, when some well-meaning adult took me at the age of 3 for a ride in a fairground bumper car. The nightmare consists of an endless, helpless ride, culminating in a crash from which, of course, I wake. As it was when I came to, I thought that I was asleep and dreaming. So there we go there. And then have a Newbery honor book. This is The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. I recognize that author's name. What else did she write? Does it say at all? Because I recognize her name, but I'm not sure. Let's see. It doesn't say. But I'm reading not only the Newbery winners, but the Newbery runner-up. Well, the runner-ups have like the silver medal here. So whenever I come across these, I always grab them. Then I have a cozy mystery. This is a Scottish bakehouse mystery, A Last Resort by Gail Rupert. And the author's name is so small. It's itty bitty on here. But what I thought was interesting is it's a hardcover. And the last really, I love the punny titles on the cozy mysteries. But I'm planning to get to this one in March Mystery Madness, even though it's Christmas themed. I'm sure there'll be a cold enough day in March for me to want to pick this one up. And then going on, I have 3 piles here, so we're on to the second pile. I have Bailey White. This is Sleeping at the Starlight Motel and Other Adventures on the Way Back Home. And when I was in the bookstore, I saw she had several books, and I haven't read anything by her, but Mama Makes Up Her Mind is another one. This one I can get on ebook through my library, but I couldn't get this one, so I'm like, maybe I'll read Mama Makes Up Her Mind first and then read this one. But it says anyone who's read the bestseller or who has heard her read on National Public Radio knows that Bailey White is one of the keenest observers of Southern eccentricity since Mark Twain. So yeah, we'll see if there's like humor, like Southern humor here. And I just finished reading Deep South, which was by Paul Thoreau, who when he toured like the Deep South, you know, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, that whole region. And so I also was in the mood to see what Southern literature I could find. And this is nonfiction, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Doesn't say exactly, but I feel like it is, because I think I got it from the nonfiction section. And then again, with a gothic romance, this is Nightshade by Dorothy Daniels, with a woman on the cover. When did this one come out? The other one was like 67. I'm just curious. Let's see. 76. Okay. And there's like a castle and a tree. Yeah, and then there's a close-up on the back here. Okay. Then I have a newer book, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. And this was actually at a little free library. This came out fairly recently, I think last year, like maybe during the fall. Yeah, August 2022. And I've tried listening to I've already tried trying to read this book through audiobook. Couldn't get into it, so now I have a physical copy I can actually read. And I've seen it make its rounds on BookTube, so let me know if you've read this and what you thought. But yeah, I like the cover. I like the yellow against the blue. And I went from like my tiny 3 piles, and now I'm just like, my little pile of like discards I'm showing you is just like, this is going everywhere. Okay, I have Shoeshine Girl by Robert Bula. And this is a trophy chapter book. I don't know exactly why I picked this up. So yeah, the train stopped at Palmville, and Sarah Ida had a sudden thought. What if she didn't get off? So yeah, a Harper Trophy book. We'll see. It's not a Newbery winner, but something maybe I read the back when I picked it up. I know why I picked this one up. This is the story of Heathcliff's journey. Okay, back to Wuthering Heights. The W with the B threw me off. By Lynn Hare Sargent. And this seems to be like a spinoff of Wuthering Heights. Maybe, you know, Heathcliff's perspective. And so, yeah, this one looked really good. And then going back to Westerns, I have Jimmy Spoon and the Pony Express by Christina Gregory. And this is like produced by Scholastic. So it's like a children's Western story. And this says, wanted. Young, skinny, wiry fellows not over 18 must be expert writers willing to risk death daily. Orphans preferred, wages $25 a week. So who can pass that up? Then I have a book I've already read years ago. This is The Persian Pickle Club by Sandra Dallas. I've read many of her books, and a lot of them take place in the West. And this one was it was in Kansas. I was thinking Oklahoma, but Kansas, and it's all about this these women who gather for quilting, and you get to know the people that are all in the community, and there's a mystery that takes place, and there's a twist in this story which you wouldn't expect involving this mystery. And then speaking of mysteries, I have Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Crime by Tamar Myers, and this is a Pennsylvania Dutch mystery. And when I first picked this up, I thought this was a Christmas ornament, but no, it's a green tomato. I'm pretty no, not green. Yeah, green tomato, where you stick your pins, I think. It's Murder at the Movies. Hollywood comes to picturesque Amish country when a film crew goes on location at Magdalena Yoder's quaint Penn Dutch Inn. But after the excitement of an open casting has even the staid Amish battling for bit parts, the filming hits a snag. A body in Magdalena's barn impaled to a post with a pitchfork. Okay. It's weird how they're filming well, I guess the Pennsylvania Dutch is maybe different than the Amish, but yeah, because I know the Amish, they're averse to having their pictures taken. I then have, a Harlequin Western romance, Her Cowboy Reunion by Debbie Rollins, and I was looking at this one along the lines of thinking about books for June on the Range. Maybe with all the snow, I'm thinking, and the cold weather, I'm thinking about the warm days of June, and June on the Range is on my mind. It says, discover the Made in Montana miniseries, where all your cowboy dreams come true. Okay, so a miniseries. Okay, and then going back to a gothic romance. This is by the same author as that other one, Joan Aiken. This is Dark Interval. Waiting at her homecoming was a stranger with evil in his gaze. And again, it's a woman running away, spooky castle, creepy tree, as all the elements. It says Trial by Terror. Let's see, then I have books 1, 2, and 3 of Pony Pals. I Want a Pony for Keeps, and A Pony in Trouble by Jeanne Betancourt. These kind of reminded me of the Saddle Club and things like that. I don't think I picked these up as a kid. I'm probably going to just read the first one and see if I like it, then maybe read the other two. If not, then I'll just redonate them. And they were really big font, and yeah, we'll see. Okay, then I have Gently Touch the Milkweed by Lynn Hall, and Secret of the Milkweed. And I feel like this was a Newbery winner, or I'm not sure exactly why I picked this one up, but we'll see. It says a pioneer proposal, so maybe there's pioneer history of why I picked that one up, because I do the pioneer era. And then this one I know is Newbery winners, that's why I got this one. This is The Perilous Road by William O. Steele. And this one says, Chris hates Yankees, plain and simple. Not only are the Union troops down in Tennessee where they don't belong, but they help themselves to all the supplies his family had saved for winter. And to add to it all, his brother joined up with the Union Army. Now, how could he betray the South? Chris wonders. So, a family divided and going along with the Civil War. And then another book that I've read in the past. This is Susanna Clark's Piranesi, and this book was so interesting. I remember it took me a couple of chapters to get immersed into the book, even though it's a pretty short book. Let's see, it's 239 pages. And yeah, I almost dropped it, but I kept going, and I really liked it. It stuck with me. It's very different, and I still need to read her other book. She's this huge book, and I think I have a Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I think I have it on my shelves up there in the fantasy section, and so I just got this as a push, a nudge to reread it at some point. And this book, again, like some of the other ones, made its rounds on BookTube, and this is the Book of the Month Club edition. And I have Marie Ferriella, a Forever Texas book. This is her Mistletoe Cowboy, and this is an Harlequin American romance. I recognize this author, Marie Ferriella. I've read several of her books, and so I thought I'd give one of hers a go that's under the American romance, because I don't think I've read one of hers under that line. I don't think I've read any American romance, but now I have several to choose from. Then going back to winter, I have A Winter Cottage by Carol Ryrie Brink, and it's a really pretty edition here. And I got this one because I recently read her like autobiography last month, and so I wanted to see what else was by her. And this one has some illustrations. We can find some along with on the cover. There's some illustrations there. I have them sawing logs, and let's see, and they're making dinner. So yeah, it's really it should take me no time at all because it's has really big margins, like pretty good sized font, and it's only like 160 so pages or so. So yeah, I can fly through this one on one winter night. And then speaking of Newbery, I first got introduced to this author when I was reading Caddy Woodlawn. So I think a lot of people know her from that book. I feel like I'm going winter, summer, winter, summer. The next one is a summer book. This is Mary Kate Andrews. This is a book bind up of The Weekenders and Beach Town. I've already read Beach Town, but I haven't read The Weekenders, and I probably will reread Beach Town when I get to this. I looked it up on Goodreads, and the last time I read Beach Town was 2018. And yeah, like Mary Kate Andrews, I love her work, and I feel like I read at least one or two every summer, if not sprinkled in throughout the year. And then another beach author is Beautiful Day by Ellen Hilderbrand. I haven't read this book, I know, but I've read many of her books. And again, she's another author I read every year. And I feel like also every year, these two authors, they come out with a new book every summer, just in time for the beach. Then going back to Westerns, you can see there's a theme here about several different genres. A Lady Follows, a Woman of the West novel by Holly Newman. There's a woman driving her covered wagon with there's like a cowboy in the background. It's 1846, and Caroline sets out on the Santa Fe Trail from Westport, Missouri, motivated by her 3 young cousins who have been left motherless. So maybe she's going to go mother the motherless. And then I have a cozy mystery. This is Murder at the Beach by Helen Goodman, and this is an Allison Aldridge mystery. And it's a beach-themed one here. It's a Swimming into Trouble. And where does this take place? A charming cottage on the North Carolina coast seems to be the perfect escape for her, her college-age children, and her new husband, retired police detective Fred Sawyer, until Allison finds a dead body under a nearby pier and unsettling signs that their beach house has been searched. So let's see what's going on there. Then I have Rand Thane, The Cottages on Silver Beach. This is a Haven Point novel. And I feel like a lot of Rand Thane's book covers are really like these scenic landscapes. And so I always like a lot of her covers. I have another one here, so I skip ahead from her. Oh, here it is. Okay. Then I have Willow Leaf Lane as well. And is this part of the same series as that one? Hope's Crossing series, and this one is Haven Point. And I feel like a lot of her books, they're like standalone. You can read them, you can dip in and out of the series in any order for the most part. Just different characters that I've mentioned in the previous books might pop up again. Then I have a B.J. Daniels, Stroke of Luck, and this is part of the Sterling's Montana series. And this author, I really, really like. I've only read one of her books. I read it last month, or was it the beginning of this month? And I thought it was fantastic. It was an intrigue novel, and it was like the best intrigue I've ever read from that line. And so I found this at a free library, and I snatched it up immedately. So I just want to read all of her books. It says, he's hoping to bury the past. She's ready to settle the score. And it seems like a lot of her books are set in Montana, and they have like this snowy landscapes with these cabins that are spread out. So yeah, we'll see. I think it's that one. And then let's see here. I have another American Romance. This is A Cowboys Christmas Reunion, part of the Boons of Texas series by Sasha Summers. I recognize that name. I don't think I've read anything by her, but I feel like maybe I've heard about this author through BookTube, maybe. And this is a novella included by, who has the novella here? Does it say? Oh yeah, there's the book, A Cowboys Christmas Reunion by Sasha Summers. And then the novella is A Home for Christmas by Laura Marie Altman. And let's see, I have The Anti-Babysitter's Plot by Susan Fletcher, and this is It's War. So I don't know if it's like girls versus boys, or all the kids are against the babysitter, but yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. It says Aurora is no baby. So maybe it's like they're like resentful of her babysitting because maybe she's too young. I don't know yet. We'll see. So then I have Harlequin Super Romance. This Invitation to Italian by Tracy Kelleher. This is Make Me a Match. This is, again, a book I picked up thinking I could read it for the Retro Romance Readathon, but, I mean, not that I couldn't read it during this month. This came out in 2011, so well past the eligibility for that readathon. This is, they're learning a new language, the language of love. Okay. So then I have Dirt Jessie by Anna Myers. And it's like a children's book. It says, it felt good walking along with the sun, about to set and looking forward to something. HJ didn't even know my plan, but he was excited too. Even Mama seemed to have a little more spirit in her face and how she moved. Like maybe it helped to get away from our place, where Patsy's grave sort of filled all 60 acres, and where Papa was just about dead as Patsy. So like kids on the move trying to get over a loss. And then have winner of the Edgar Allan Poe Award, not a Newbery. This is Megan's Island by Willow Davis Robert. Kind of creepy with, you know, she's like boating on a lake, but then there's like not one, but two figures like in the dark staring at her. You can see why it's an Edgar Allan Poe Award. Then a Western Romance, and that's different than the American Romance. This one, because I think the other ones were American. This is Western. By Kathy McDavid, The Bull Rider's Valentine. And I wanted to read this for Valentine's Day, but I might squeeze it in for this month. Since I just did this book all in, it's reminding me, hey, I have one that's like set in February. It says Forever His Valentine. And this would be a good introduction to this line, since I have, again, several of these. I'm actually going to put it in a different pile, so it'll call it out to me. And then the last one is a Newbery Honor book. This is Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. And this is another book I've heard mentioned quite a bit, and it also won the Coretta Scott King Award. When did this one come out? I feel like this is a more recent one. 2017? Yeah, 2017. Yeah, so that's why I recognize it, because it was probably mentioned on BookTube back then. So yeah, anyway, those are all of the books I've managed to pick up. And I completely forgot to mention that I'm trying this year to only spend $20 a month. I'm being very, very conservative. And it's not that I don't have the funds to spend more, because I do. It's just a way of giving myself control of not buying too many books, because I want to read all these books. And I'm having so much fun picking books off my shelf. So I'm kind of sort of participating in like the 100 book challenge, 500 book challenge, because I have over like 400. I mean, that number is going down, but I'm bringing in all these books. But yeah, so I'm just trying to bring it in. So after this book haul, I don't foresee having this many books bringing in each month. I'm hoping for just a small fraction of that, like maybe 10 a month, because I know I can for sure get through those in a month. So yeah, I will talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.